year two of the Kevin O'Connell era. In which case, the common theme so far for this guy as head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, you look at how they went 13-4 last year. You see how they've gone with 4 straight victories to get to 5-4 and be in control of their own destiny for the 7th seed in the NFC. The common theme so far for KOC is nothing makes sense. Everything is absolutely bonkers. And in the case of this year, a real life remake of the movie Any Given Sunday, your starting quarterback goes down. Your second stringer goes down. In comes Josh Dobbs / Willie Beeman, your third string quarterback, and it's off to the races. Josh Dobbs, speaking of which, KOC spoke on this yesterday and it's no surprise at all, especially with Jaren Hall in the concussion protocol, that the plan is for Dobbs to get all of the first team reps in practice with him starting next week against the New Orleans Saints. And something else that I guess I forgot to mention these last couple of days is that we've been, as far as Vikings fans, we've been just teetering with the idea, man, what would a dual threat quarterback look like for this team? Someone that can be just a real threat to take off with their legs when their receiving weapons are caught up in a jam in the secondary, second and third level. What would that look like? Well, we got a glimpse of that on Sunday against the Falcons. Josh Dobbs had 66 yards on the ground. We're not used to seeing that. It was just, whoa, okay, we're going to welcome this with open arms. But switching gears here, I hate that this has become a recurring theme week after week after week. But nothing has been done about it, and the more that nothing gets done about it, the more of a glaring issue it becomes. It doesn't matter, Josh Dobbs, Jaren Hall, whatever. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but with either of these guys, you need to support them to the fullest. You need a run game. We are 9 games into this season, more than halfway done with this year. I would say that's a large enough sample size. The Vikings run game, 29th in yards per game. First down rushes per game, or as far as rush attempts that turn into first downs per game, last in the league. Yards per attempt, 27th in the league. Touchdowns, tied for second worst. Alexander Mattison, 3.6 yards per carry, 0 rushing touchdowns. The man has tunnel vision. I don't know what else you need to see, but it's crazy how much of a precursor a couple of years ago that game against the Seattle Seahawks was for Alexander Mattison, where, my God, on fourth down, all you got to do is cut right, bro. There's a lane right there for you. You would have got the first down, new set of downs, game over, ball game, you win. But we've just, this entire time, just brushed it off like, it's whatever. It's okay. No big deal. It's a one-off. No, that's who he is, evidently. The man can you blame the offensive line? At times, sure, but it's not all on the offensive line. The man puts his head down and he just runs into the pile, and whatever, one of these days it's going to break open and I'm going to have a nice run. It's not going to happen. No anticipation, no footwork. Cam Akers, who suffered a torn Achilles, he's out for the year. That's very unfortunate for him. But I don't remember exactly when in the game this happened, but I know this was on Sunday against the Falcons. There was a rushing play, where Cam Akers was the tailback, and the middle of the offensive line was just getting pushed back. There was nothing there. But Akers had the vision to bounce outside to the right, and he got, I want to say, 6 or 7 yards. And at that point, I was like, yeah, man, don't get me wrong. Cam Akers was struggling as well. But at that moment, I said, that's what I'm talking about. The lanes aren't always going to be there. Sometimes you have to make something out of nothing, and you're never going to get that from Madison. You saw that from Akers, and it's like, oh my God, can we get more of that, please? Alexander Mattison is close to 14 attempts per game. And you look at the last couple of games when he's gotten that many attempts or more. Against the Falcons, 16 rushes for 44 yards, 2.8 yards per carry. Against the Packers, 16 attempts, 31 yards, 1.9 yards per attempt. Against the Bears, 18 attempts, 44 yards, 2.4 yards per carry. That is absolutely ridiculous. At the goal line, to not have the threat of your running back punching it in is a huge disadvantage for the offense as a whole. At this point, giving Mattison all of these reps, all of these touches is the equivalent of giving D'Angelo Russell the green light to do whatever the hell he wants to offensively. That's just not smart. Now, as far as the solution, what do the Vikings do? First off, I'm just going to put suggestions out there as far as what I would do, but so far it just seems like they are hell-bent committed to Alexander Mattison the rest of the way. But what I would do, first off, Ty Chandler with Cam Akers being out for the year is Ty Chandler's season all over again. He's going to get some opportunities, most likely as the RB2. I don't see the coaching staff benching Mattison at all. I'm just so disappointed in him because I thought he would be just a solid middle of the pack starting running back. He's one of the worst in the league. But Ty Chandler, he's going to get reps. Leonard Fournette, you can sign him off of the Bills practice squad. James Robinson, who his rookie year in Jacksonville had over 1,000 yards on the ground. And then they drafted Travis Etienne, I believe, the year after. And they were looking for any reason to basically replace James Robinson. He hasn't been the same since, but I would take a flyer on him. And lastly, listen, man, desperate times calls for desperate measures. I wouldn't even mind taking a chance with CJ Ham, bro. CJ Ham is a fullback. His main job is to be a lead blocker for the running back. And, of course, on passing downs if you have him out there to pick up the blitzes. But on running plays, what is the point of having a damn good lead blocker block for a guy who doesn't have any vision whatsoever? He's already predetermined where he's going to go. So having CJ Ham out there putting his body on the line for a guy that's not even paying attention at the running back position is a waste of time. Put that big-bodied ass dude, CJ Ham, out there. Have him run a few plays, especially at the goal line. I bet you this man could truck through for a rushing touchdown or two. Anything, just any possible adjustments that you're thinking of if you're the Vikings coaching staff, just try it. What's the worst that could happen? You have one of the worst rushing attacks in the game. You got to do something to help out either of these quarterbacks, regardless of who's going to play the rest of the year. This running game has been a disaster. Change has to be made.